Hey, hi everyone, and welcome to our weekly live stream. This is Freedom is Not Free channel, and my name is Stan. Hope you're all having a lovely weekend. Yeah, babe, how's my coffee? It's almost done. I just made myself some coffee. Can you pour some coffee to the cup for me? Thank you. I don't know. Poland, yeah. It's gonna be all right. Okay, so how are you doing, guys? Today I have a couple of topics to discuss with you. The first one is related to the recent speech delivered by President Lai Ching-te of Taiwan, where he talked about Taiwan's sovereignty and actually mocked the CCP a little bit. I will translate everything for you. And then I want to discuss some of the Chinese propaganda, as we always do, and this time about China's infiltration into churches, including Catholic Church, including different Christian denominations in China. And in the end, probably let's talk a little bit about Trump returning to Butler, Pennsylvania, and the overall situation there. Thank you. Yeah. Great cup here. I love coffee. Okay. I reckon William Lai nailed the speech for good. Oh, yeah, he was amazing. I love the guy. He really is amazing. Goddamn, the whole world is in chaos now. Oh, yeah. I think it's only going to be worse. So let's start with President Lai's speech. And yeah, it's over here. So here are like very important things because the ROC National Day is coming. It's just in a couple of days, and this time President Lai actually talked about the ROC, Republic of China, and the PRC also, and which country is Taiwan's motherland. That's also very interesting. So let's have a listen, and I will interpret everything.
我们在庆祝各项活动的时候
，when we celebrate different events，
其实最重要有一样意义，也就是我们一定要铭记，我们是一个主权独立的国家。
The one thing we have to pay our specific attention to is that we should remember that we are a sovereign state.
我们要爱我们的国家
And we should love our country.
时时爱我们的国家
Really love our country. This camera angle, I love it. It's these are the KMT members attending the event. So you see there is the mayor of Taipei, Jiang Wan, like looking very seriously, not happy at all. Here is Han Guoyu, Daniel Han. His English name is Daniel. He used to be mayor of Kaohsiung, got recalled, and right now he is Speaker of the House, Speaker of Taiwan's legislature. And next to him, probably that's Johnny Jiang. Not sure. It's a little bit blurry.
同时要学习先贤先烈的精神，牺牲奉献。我们要
And at the same time, we have to understand what the risks are, and we should learn about the devotion to our country.
团结守护国家主权。
We should unite to protect our country's freedom and independence.
维护民主、自由、人权的生活方
And to protect our democratic and free way of lives.
式，才不辜负这么多年来牺牲奉献的每一个人。大家说对吗？
And only like that, we will be the worthy of those who lost their lives and who made sacrifices for our country. Am I right? Yes, you're right.
最近，我们的邻居中华人民共和国
Recently, our neighbor, People's Republic of China,
10月1号刚过完75岁生日。
on October 1st, they just celebrated their 75th birthday of their country.
再过几天，中华民国就要过113岁生日。
And just in a couple of days, the Republic of China, ROC, will celebrate its 113th birthday.
因此，就年纪来说，
Therefore, if we look at the age,
中华人民共和国是绝对不可能成为中华民国人民的祖国。
People's Republic of China can never become the motherland of the people of the Republic of China.
反倒是中华民国可能是
It's quite the opposite. Republic of China,
中华人民共和国75岁以上的民众的祖国。
maybe the motherland of people above 75 years of age that live in the People's Republic of China.
大家说对不对？
Am I right?
不过，
Even KMT people are laughing right now and smiling.
中华民国在台澎金马落地生根已
And the Republic of China in Taiwan, Pescadores, Kinmen, and Matsu Islands
经75年，
has been existing for 75 years already.
我们是不必再去谈论这一层关系了。
Stop speaking Mandarin. We don't have to talk about those relations anymore. We don't have to do that.
但是，如果有人要祝贺中华人民共和国生日快乐，
But if there are some people that want to wish all the best for the birthday of People's Republic of China,
特别祝贺词要精准，
you have to be very accurate with your words.
切勿用“祖国”两字。大家说对不
And
对？
don't use the word motherland while you're addressing the People's Republic of China. Am I right? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just perfect. It was perfect. Perfect. Like in that meme. It was perfect. Perfect. Yep. Rodrigo, Taiwanese people voted freely for their freedom and democracy. We must respect the free vote of the people. It is sacred. Exactly. Exactly. Then Taiwanese people saw what happened in Hong Kong, where there is less individual freedom than in Nazi Germany. They're not crazy. Hello, Stan. Nice to meet you at your English channel. Hi, Lao Zheng. I'm also very glad to see you here. So yeah, you see, and let's talk about the significance and the importance of that speech. So, because the CCP people and the People's Republic of China, they like highlighting that and saying that Taiwan is a part of China and China is the motherland of Taiwanese people. But we also have to face the reality. The communist government that is in power that in China right now, first of all, like, what is their rule based on? It was based on like communist revolution, Marxist ideology. They wanted to get rid of everything traditional that existed there in China to begin with. They caused millions of deaths and so on and so forth. But we only look at when was the PRC established. It was in 1949. The ROC government that is there in Taiwan, and which is the official name of the government in Taiwan, it was established much earlier. and they're celebrating their 113th birthday already, and not 75th birthday, like what they celebrate in China. So the government that resides in Taiwan right now, it's much older than the government of the PRC. But that's also like a different scale of it. Because if we look at ROC history and what is Taiwan? Taiwan, first of all, any of the Chinese rulers, would it be Ming Empire, would it be Qing Empire, they didn't control Taiwan as a whole. They didn't control the entirety of Taiwan's territory. The first country that actually gained control over the whole of Taiwan was Japan. And after the Second World War, Japan renounced its rights over Taiwan, not in favor of anyone. Not in favor of anyone. It was written in the San Francisco Peace Treaty. Hey? You all right? You all right? Oh. No worries. So, yeah. But there was another political reality. It was the government of the ROC that came to Taiwan. First of all, just as a temporary force, temporary occupying force, alongside with the United States after the Second World War. But then it was only the ROC that stayed there. And then they lost in the Civil War. And they stayed in Taiwan. They had basically nowhere else to go. That's why many of the Taiwanese people call those Chinese descendants refugees. It was a party of the refugees, the government of the refugees. But they controlled Taiwan, and they established effective control over Taiwan. Then they went through the democratic reforms. And in 1996, Taiwan elected their first president in a free and democratic elections. So right now, the fact of the matter is that Taiwan has nothing to do with China. The only connection they have with China is the name of the government that has its roots coming from China. And as a country that has been colonized before, either by Chinese forces, they had colonial settlements, or by Japan, or later on, you can call it like the second colonization when Chiang Kai-shek's army came there. De facto, it was a colonization. You don't just imagine one simple thing. A person from the UK comes to the US, or an American comes to the UK, and British people say, "Welcome to the motherland." Welcome to the motherland. No, the British will never say that to American people, right? Or if a Taiwanese person goes to Japan, nobody in Japan will tell them, "Welcome to the motherland." Or I don't know, a person from Quebec goes back to France. Not goes back, goes for a visit to France. And French people will never tell them, "Welcome to your motherland." No. Or people from Louisiana going to France, like the same thing like that. Or a Brazilian that comes to Portugal. Portuguese people will never tell them, "Welcome back to the motherland." No, because they were the occupying forces. These were like colonial regimes in those countries, and right now they have their own independence and they have their own state. In Taiwan, the history itself was a little bit different. It was the occupying force of the ROC that transformed into a democratic government that represents Taiwanese people. But still, even if the process was a little bit different from the other, like the colonial and post-colonial processes all around the world, this doesn't mean that Taiwan has less rights than Brazil, than Argentina, than Chile, than Nigeria, or any other country that used to be colonized, or India, right? Or the United States. So That's why when we hear these kind of speeches made by Taiwanese politicians, it is very important, and that's very important how accurately they use the words, and that Taiwanese people should not address China as motherland, because it's not Taiwan's motherland. I mean, we all come from somewhere, and using that as an argument, some Taiwanese, some, not all of them, they're also indigenous people in Taiwan. And right now, there are also people from all around the world living in Taiwan. Some Taiwanese, they have their ancestry coming from the mainland. But so what? If you dig deeper, we all can trace our ancestry back to East Africa. This is where the human civilization started. So I don't think that Ethiopia thinks that we're all Ethiopians and that we should treat Ethiopia as our motherland. No, we all come from somewhere. And if the people used to live on any kind of territory, that doesn't mean that this territory should belong to that country right now. Right? They also like to use the language. Oh, Taiwanese people, they write traditional characters and they speak Mandarin. Okay, Americans speak English. That doesn't mean that America is a part of Great Britain, or that Portuguese is spoken in Brazil. That doesn't make Brazil a part of Portugal. I think that's pretty easy. We all use Roman alphabet. That doesn't make us Romans. Because but Taiwanese people use Chinese characters. Okay, we use Roman alphabets. I'm not Roman. No, I'm not a Roman. Do you remember that video with Brandon Kavanaugh? Are you a Roman? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Like Brandon, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Are you a Roman? And also, Japanese people use Chinese characters, kanji. It doesn't make them Chinese. Chinese characters were also used in Vietnam and in Korea. That also doesn't make those countries Chinese. So when addressing the PRC, we shouldn't be using like words like motherland or things like that. That's simply wrong. And I'm very happy that Taiwanese president is actually saying things like that. And that's a very patriotic speech, and it's a very good thing that he's addressing those issues publicly. And I saw those KMT people laughing and smiling and being very happy. This is also good. Because they also understand that KMT traces its ancestry to China, but there is no KMT in China. I mean, there is. It's called Mingge, and it's also not related to Taiwan. And the People's Republic of China, they have never controlled Taiwan. Not for a day, not for an hour. Taiwanese people don't pay taxes to China. Taiwan has its own government. It's not a province of China. It has its own government, its own political system, its own military, very strong military actually, its own army. Have their own education, they have their own languages, they have their own political system, and it's very different from what's going on in China. So yeah. Taiwan is a free country, and it's very different from the CCP-run People's Republic of China. And I'm very happy to hear a Taiwanese president saying things like that. Yeah, and whose motherland? If you want to trace the government, the ROC government has more legitimacy than the PRC government has, actually. Yeah. So before moving to the next subject, let me read some of the comments. Okay. When you visited the United States, has anybody expressed serious interest in the China-Taiwan relationship? Yeah, a lot of people. And there is interest. But let me tell you what, I think the people in the US are more interested in Taiwanese chips than in China relationships. Some of them are asking it like, well, what are the possibilities of China attacking? And to these questions, I usually answered it also depends on the willingness of the United States to protect. So if you show China that you are 100% behind Taiwan and you will support Taiwan, then China will never attack. So yeah, there is an interest, and there is a growing interest. Many people, if they are in that geopolitics, like international affairs, and that kind of bubble, they are very interested in what's going on in Taiwan. many of whom do not see themselves as a part of PRC. President Lai remarks resonate with Taiwan's strong national sentiment, especially as tensions with China escalate. Yeah, it was a very good speech, and it's also related to not addressing PRC as motherland, as Zuguo. It was also addressing some of those pro-CCP politicians or pro-CCP media people and celebrities that went to China and they all said, 祖国伟大,祖国万岁, and they all hold Taiwanese citizenship. But they're very not talented to begin with. They're celebrities. They write pretty awful songs. And those celebrities, they are not popular in Taiwan anymore. They cannot earn any more of the Taiwanese money, and that's why they decided to shill for China. So, and that's shameful. But I want to tell you that Taiwan must be free. Yeah, of course. It must be free, and it is free already. So let's keep Taiwan free. I guess CEO of YouTube are vague and censor. I will get blur if I comment. Okay, you're talking about like political censorship on YouTube. Oh yeah, then maybe I don't see all of your comments. Okay. In short, Lai's speech underscores Taiwan's refusal to accept Chinese claims of sovereignty over the island, further solidifying Taiwan's position in the international discourse on sovereignty and independence. Well, basically, yes. And it also shows like not only the island itself, but all the territories controlled by Taiwan, by Taiwanese government. He mentioned Taiwan, the Pescadores, Kinmen and Matsu, Taipong Jingma. He said these 4 words. So it's very good, and they actually made it to The Guardian. Let me show you. Mainland China is not the motherland, says Taiwan's president, because our republic is older. Lai Ching-te argues the reverse may be true, because the Republic of China, the mantle that nationalists carried with them to Taiwan, predate the Communist People's Republic. I think they mistranslated one thing. It's not mainland China is not the motherland. He said, 中华人民共和国, the People's Republic of China is not the motherland. That's crucial, because there is no such country as mainland China. There is no place on earth which is called mainland China. There is People's Republic of China and there is Taiwan. There are different entities. So I think that's a mistake by The Guardian. They shouldn't have translated People's Republic of China as mainland China, because that means different things. That means different things. They're still probably just following with that one China bullshit that many of the left-wing media follow. Yeah. Okay. So among those who have expressed serious interest in Taiwan's trade situation, do you think that they mostly right or left, in your opinion? Well, let me tell you, whom did I have conversations about that? Other than those conferences that I attended, and these are the people who are interested in the issue, of course. There were students in Princeton and in Brown. And I don't know where are they, like, on the political spectrum? No idea. Students, young people only talked about Taiwan. I've asked them questions. Like, you can watch the video like that I made in Brown University. The Princeton one will be a little bit later. I can say Ivies are pretty left-leaning, but that doesn't mean that there are conservative students there also. So I don't know. Probably amongst those people that I have interviewed, maybe centrist or not having like very strong political affiliation and opinion. Yeah. What I can say that people leaning right, for them, it's first of all deterring China. This is what they're talking about: how to prevent China from expanding. It's first addressing the China issue and then protecting Taiwan. And for the more left-leaning people who are in that bubble, it's Taiwan's democracy and way of life, and then deterrence of China. So priority-wise, for more Republican mindset, at least amongst the people that I've talked to, it's deterring China, protecting Taiwan. And for Democrats, leftists, it's Taiwanese democratic way of life, not mention sovereignty, not sovereignty, way of life, democracy, and then deterring China. So yeah, these are the differences, and that's pretty obvious, I think, if you read like both of the sides of political spectrum. One side, one country, clearly. CCP keeps lying, cheating all the time. Yeah, China cheats. China cheats. like Trump says, China cheats. Yeah, the CCP cheats, and they are representing like the government of China. Taiwan doesn't need a Taiwan version of Crimea. You mean Kinmen, right? The Kinmen Island. That's probably one of the scenarios that the PRC and the CCP are working on, probably, to have some operation in Matsu or Kinmen Islands, especially Kinmen, because Kinmen is more susceptible to Chinese propaganda, and they have more China-friendly people. But I think when it comes to, do you want to stay in a democratic country with passport that can actually take you anywhere in the world, where you have your property rights, where you have your business rights, where you have your all the basic human rights protected, freedom of speech, so on and so forth, or become a part of the PRC? I think even the people in Kinmen, they only use their pro-China stance as political leverage in Taiwan. But I think if it comes to real war, they will fight for Taiwan. That's I think, like, I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah. The youth nowadays have just been unbelievable. They thought common sense is just out of imagination. Well, I think there is also a lot of leftist isolationism and leftist isolationist thinking in those campuses and amongst the young people, like that anti-colonial mindset, and saying that the U.S. should not interfere, and the U.S. had enough already, and we should leave those countries alone. Because I think that there is a difference between the leftist isolationism and right-wing isolationism. For right-wing, it's not about interference, but more about protecting your own interest within your country, focusing on yourself. But for the leftists, it's a more like, don't interfere militarily because America is a bad empire, right? Like that kind of thinking. And on the campuses, that's a lot. There were some people that said, "Oh no, we shouldn't interfere. We shouldn't interfere." But people who are more like conservative leaning, they were like, "Yeah, we should protect like democratic allies and things like that." Yeah. So yeah, Jingmen and Matsu are completely been taken by the CCP, in my opinion. I don't think it's as black and white. It's not as straightforward. Because yes, there are people like Chen Yuzhen, like, who are members of the Taiwanese legislature, but they're also like your normal people that simply use that kind of politics as leverage against the DPP government in Taiwan, and that's it. For them, they see what kind of goodies can they get in exchange for the loyalty. But if it comes to like real war and real fight with China, I think the people in Kinmen know that they are much better off if they're a part of Taiwan and not part of China. Taiwan must strengthen the island chains with Japan and the Philippines to resist the common red flood. I agree 100%. And here we have to, first of all, Taiwan has to spend more on its military. That's the most basic thing to begin with. Secondly, Taiwan needs to cooperate with allies like the Philippines, like Japan, like Korea. There are also many areas of cooperation with Malaysia and Indonesia, and also Australia, like all the Indo-Pacific area, like all around the place. Because When we're united, we're stronger. So, and of course, we need a stronger United States. Some people say that the motherland for those over 80 is Japan. Yes, my grandfather only speaks Taiwanese and Japanese. Exactly. I have many friends and people that I know that are in their 80s and even 90s, and I speak Japanese to them. We communicate in Japanese. And my wife, Tai Tai, her grandmom speaks perfect Japanese. So yeah. Taiwan used to be a part of Japan, that's for sure. 啊？我没有讲的小声啊，我说你阿嬷会讲日文啊，啊，我都听得懂啊。Tai Tai asked me, "Why are you so quiet?" No, I was talking about your grandma speaking Japanese. Yeah. Nah, they're not. They're economically dependent on the Red China, but are still part of the ROC, legally speaking. Yeah. But I think when it comes to their rights and the protections that they have under the ROC government, they will never exchange it to the PRC, because they perfectly understand that the second they become a part of China, their value in the eyes of the PRC becomes a zero, like a total zero. They will be worth nothing. Same thing with those Taiwanese CCP shills, Taiwanese artists, Taiwanese singers that go to China. They can go to China and earn tremendous amounts of money only because they have Taiwanese passports. And if Taiwan becomes a part of China, they will be worth nothing. And they perfectly understand that. Yeah. And right now, there's another thing I wanted to show you. Let's talk about religion in China. So you probably know what's going on. That's a church. It's a sermon. There are people wearing their outfits, supposed to be praising Christ, but they're not. They're praising the Communist Party of China. And you see those Chinese Christians waving those red communist flags, and Communist China is 100% anti-religious. So, yeah. That's what I wanted to show you. I mean, I have seen the similar videos for quite a long time already, and there are many Christian organizations and in China that all have to follow with the Communist Party of China. And once I've heard some of the foreign scholars go in there to research, the field work about the Christianity in China, and when they come back, they say, yeah, the Christians have a certain level of freedom. No, Christians don't have any level of freedom in China. They're being persecuted, and if you attend a church that doesn't have those communist flags and Xi Jinping's portraits around it, then it's going to be illegal in China. Also, they are changing scripture. I remember that part. Who is without sin cast the first stone. Remember that story, right? And according to the communist version of the Bible, Jesus kills that woman and says that the law is above it all. So there is nothing left of Christianity in China. Probably The only good thing I can tell you about the KMT is that KMT preserved Christianity in China. And there is a pretty long history of Chinese Christianity and Chinese Christians. But when the PRC came, when the communists came, when those communist bandits came, by the way, did you know that Chiang Kai-shek's wife and Chiang Kai-shek himself, they were Christian? Even though not saying that officially, but they were Christian. But after the CCP came, they have been just dismantling and destroying everything that was left of Christianity. So yeah, and right now you see Christian choirs singing communist songs and praising the commie god, and this is shameful. And this is how they are destroying and dismantling the religion. And why? They hate Christians and they're afraid of Christians. Why? I'm also Christian. I'm Catholic. Because for us, there is nothing about the God. There is nothing about God. God is the highest. God represents everything. It's the highest authority that can ever exist. But for the CCP, the highest authority is Xi Jinping. He is the God, and probably even higher than God. And that's why they hate Muslims. Same issue. For Muslims, the highest authority is God, is Allah. For the commies, the highest authority is the Communist Party. It's the CCP. So that's why they are fighting against any kind of religious freedom that is possible there. Because for Christians, for Muslims, for the Jewish people who follow Judaism, there is a strict moral code that we all have to follow. But for the CCP, there is none. For the CCP, the only morals they have is what suits the Communist Party. That's it. That's it. So right now, you see, I mean, many people will watch that and laugh, but I think it's painful. It's very painful to watch. What are they doing to Christianity? What are they doing to churches? What are they doing to my faith? Christians should not praise communism, because communism killed so many Christians. Just think about how many Christians did communists kill in Russia, for example? They were trying to destroy any kind of religious freedom that was in any of the countries where the communists came. So yeah, nasty ceremony. Exactly, nasty ceremony. Yeah. So yeah, just another day in communist China, where during a sermon you have to sing praises to the Communist Party. I've heard another one, also like similar situation. It was inside of the church, and they were singing like 伟大的中国共产党，你就是方向 like the greatest Communist Party, you are the direction that we should follow. Yeah. Yeah, Christ is king. Christ is king. Bless you too, Pete. Wait, the Guardian is British. Yeah, the Guardian is British. The Guardian is very British. It's as British and as leftist as it can be. Okay. I've showed that article. It's a little bit different. It says mainland China is not the motherland. And I think that's a misinterpretation. They should have interpreted it as the People's Republic of China, because that's what President Lai said. He said 中华人民共和国不是祖国. Yeah. Okay, alrighty. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is, you probably watched that one already, but we'll still have a look. Elon Musk endorsing Trump.
Everyone.
Let's just watch a short part of that. はい。
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
Some people said that he's a dork MAGA, not dark MAGA, dork MAGA.
Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, you know, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight. Blood coming down the face. Now, America is the home of the brave. And there's no truer test than courage under fire. So who do you want representing America? Yeah, absolutely. And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote.
Yeah, and then he's talking about the voter ID and so on and so forth. So, of the brave, that's a part of the US national anthem. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Right? So, regarding Elon Musk, I think he made a lot of mistakes and a lot of wrong decisions previously. First of all, deciding to actually provide Starlink systems to Russian soldiers, which is very inhumane in my opinion. Then investing lots of money in China, and I think that he lost a lot. And right now, when you see the rise of the Chinese EVs, I'm actually interested how much of the technology has been stolen from Tesla. I think it's going to be a lot. Then his comments about Taiwan were also very controversial. But what I agree with him on is the freedom of speech thing. When he purchased X, my account stopped having many issues. So, yeah, him standing for Trump and saying that I know where he comes from. First of all, let's talk about like the freedom of speech things, because they have been trying to apply pressure on Twitter and on X and all the other social platforms. And recently, Hillary Clinton, she said that we will lose control if social media stops monitoring and censoring content. And that's, but sometimes you have to ask, who are those censors and who are those people who monitor the content? Because let me tell you about Facebook. Facebook in Taiwan, the content that is being produced in Taiwan, it's being monitored and censored by the team which is located in Singapore. And I personally encountered many instances where like a very fluff piece, very straightforward, very easygoing videos. For example, like a group of Taiwanese people protesting next to the United Nations peacefully and patriotically, using Trump's words, saying things like, no one should be left behind, let Taiwan in, Taiwan should be free, keep Taiwan free, we're a country. Very peaceful. Like there is nothing controversial, there is nothing sensitive. No one is killing anyone, no one is fighting against anyone, no one is swearing, nothing. And then I published a video on Facebook, and then they sent me on my fan page. I have around like 70,000 followers on Facebook. And they sent me the message like in a couple of minutes. We have determined that you have published controversial content, and we are limiting the distribution of your content. And you, of course, you can challenge that. And I did that. I got my answer in 2 weeks. They said, oh, it's all right. Your video is okay. But 2 weeks passed. Nobody is interested in the event anymore. Nobody's following with that news anymore. But they have lowered the distribution and limited the distribution of that simple video for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. How am I supposed to do content? Then there was the second video where I've interviewed Taiwanese ambassador. Also, nothing controversial, like very, like a fluff piece. Like, what are the biggest challenges of being an ambassador? What do you think about the resolution 2758? Like, basically, I just wanted to hear the official position of Taiwanese government in the United States. That's it. Same thing, limited distribution. Then there was the third video. Probably, yeah, I think it was interview with Miles Yu. Also, like, very professional, like nothing controversial, like not at all. They are limited distribution of my content on daily basis. Why? Because it's pro-Taiwan. And the people that work in that Singaporean office, I don't know how affiliated are they with the CCP. That's Facebook. Similar situation can be found on YouTube, where when I've got my videos censored for some very stupid thing. Like, there was a guy wearing a t-shirt in one of my videos, and they didn't like the t-shirt, and it was not even a swear word, but they've just censored it. So yeah, that's what's going on those social media platforms. And the only I can say that X, Twitter under Musk, it became more free than it used to be when it was Twitter. And I can get a lot of information from X right now, even though there is a lot of garbage, like absolute garbage. But also there are some pearls in that, and there are also diamonds in that. But you really have to be very attentive. But that's what the freedom of speech is about. Everyone can say anything, and you have to make your own decisions. That's what the First Amendment in the US is about, right? So I agree with him on that. Secondly, I think that he had some probably his investment in China didn't go as good as he thought it would go. And then third, probably his personal issues with his son, because he said that his son died. I think he said that he died because he went through that sex transition thing, the transgender. And he blames the education, he blames the wokeness, he blames like the situation in the United States right now. So he stood for Trump this time. Still doesn't make what he does right, and we still have to pay attention to what he is doing. But I think that this will have an impact to the election, because that time when I've been to the US, there were so many Teslas. There are so many Teslas. And all of those Tesla owners are following with Elon Musk and what Elon Musk says. And he was very Democratic leaning before. So I think it will have a certain impact. I think when you go too much to the left, there will be like an opposite reaction. Like, yes, same thing as when you go too much to the right, there will be like an opposite reaction from the left. And right now, the left swing in the US is very obvious. I heard Elon Musk helped the Turkish president censor opposition in Turkey. Oh, wow. If that's true, then that's disgusting. On the other hand, I can tell you a good thing about Elon Musk, that he didn't censor, that he supported the opposition in Venezuela. So, yeah. I've interviewed some people from Venezuela during the anti-Maduro protests. And I got in contact with them on X. But if he censored something in Turkey, that's disgusting. That is terrible. Can you explain more about the Second Amendment to the viewers? Bet a lot of people want to know about that. Like, the Second Amendment gives you, like the First Amendment gives you the guarantee that you have freedom of speech. And the Second Amendment is that you have a right to bear arms. And that's one of the pinnacles and one of the one of the most important documents and amendments in the United States history. The U.S. is one of the few countries that guarantees its citizens the right to bear arms, and that's if you look at the United States founding documents like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Right now, I hear a lot of things coming from the Democrat side of party that they want to basically an attempt to change the Constitution, which I don't agree with, starting with things like limit your right to bear arms, limit your freedom of speech, or change the electoral college, like get rid of electoral college, which is also wrong, because or make DC a state. That's basically to secure more Democratic seats in the U.S. Congress and in the Senate, in the House and in the Senate, basically. Because many Taiwanese people are asking, oh, why we don't have electoral college, but we still have free and independent elections. But why America has electoral college? Because America, it's not a unitary state. It's a union of 50 states. And you have to respect the right of each of these states. I also didn't understand that in the past, but I mean, people say that, oh, you should say it's a constitutional republic, not a democracy. So the US is a democracy, but it has a system, and a very balanced system that people more than 200 years ago thought of, that can withstand the challenges of time and that can actually work perfectly fine up until now, because of those checks and balances in place, and because the US is not a single country, it's a union of 50 countries basically, and you have to respect the rights of each of these countries. That's why every time there is an election, there is an electoral college, and those electors, they represent their state, their country that they're from, and that country made a decision that the head of the union, the president of the United States, will be that person or that person or that person. So I really don't like it when like people like Hillary Clinton or people like from the Democratic Party say, oh, it was just an electoral college victory. Electoral college victory is a victory. This is how the US works. This is how the politicians campaign, and this is how they secure, and that's just how the system is in place there. Otherwise, you will have a very big discrepancy in between very highly populated liberal states and the smaller, more conservative states. And this is not what the United States is supposed to be. Otherwise, there is nothing that can keep that union together. You have to respect the rights of the smaller states. Same thing with the DC. DC has to stay neutral. It cannot be its own thing. It has to stay neutral so that it can accommodate both the Republicans and the Democrats. If you don't think that the DC you think that DC should become its own state, then give it back to Maryland, because the land belongs to Maryland. The land was taken from Maryland to establish District of Columbia. But yeah, we can talk a lot about like the Second Amendment and how it is the final tool to protect you from the overreaching government, from the overreaching hand of government. And you see, like, there is conservative versus progressive liberal. Like the Democrats, they're more for big states, big initiatives, more changes within the United States society, more changes in terms of like power grid, energy, like everything. And the Republicans are more pro status quo, pro strong borders, strong United States, and less interference of the United States government into the lives of the ordinary people. And that's what I stand for. The government should be limited. The government is a necessary evil and not a necessary good. The Democrat Party treats it as a good, but the Republicans, they understand that the government it's a necessary evil and it has to be limited. So yeah. I'm curious about Singapore. Can people openly be against the CCP and live safely in Singapore? I don't know. I don't know. Because Singapore is they have a very ambiguous position. And remember that Singapore is not a democracy. Singapore is a country that is controlled by a single family, and you cannot be critical about that family. And it's a very, very tricky state, very tricky little state. And yeah, there is a lot of CCP operations done from Singapore. And there are many like pro-Chinese companies that are being established in Singapore. Yeah, Pete, I don't know if I said what you wanted me to say. I can make like a whole video on the Second Amendment and the different interpretations of Second Amendment, because from the left you can hear like, oh no, it's only talking about military force, it's only talking about militia, it's only talking about that, and it doesn't apply to all the people. But no, it applies to every citizen of the United States. You have the right to bear arms. I think the only country that also has like this kind of guarantee, there are some European countries like Czech Republic. It's very easy and very straightforward, the very straightforward process to get a gun. Or Switzerland, where you can everybody, they have like the mandatory military service, and after the military service you can either keep the gun at home, or they have special places where you can hold the gun. So yeah. Okay. So these are the things I wanted to discuss with you. And what's your opinion on Elon Musk supporting Trump? I have a very... I don't like a lot of things that Elon Musk does and a lot of things that he says, but I think addressing the freedom of speech issue is what I am experiencing every day. So I understand him on the freedom of speech, but I hope that he stands up against the CCP one day and will be more supportive of Taiwan and Ukraine. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. Stan, call in next week, maybe. Let's see. I'm not sure how busy will I be next week. I have a lot of things to do. I have to make another video about that Lai Ching-te speech. So yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you guys, and let's stay in touch. There will be more videos coming next week, for sure. And yeah, all the best. I'm gonna finish here.